Today's topic of discussion is masculine frame. So I see a lot of guys in society, they haven't developed a masculine frame. They've got weak body language. They don't know how to communicate with people. And these guys here have become emasculated. They've got a lot of feminine tendencies within them. And these guys here haven't got no sense of frame or no sense of masculinity within them. So we're going to be discussing some key points of how to develop a masculine frame. So first point is direct. So you as a man, right, you need to be direct in your communication. So anytime you're speaking to a man or a woman, you need to be direct in your communication. So it cannot be any type of indirect communication you're giving to them. So if you're saying that, if you're speaking to a woman or you're speaking to a man, right, and then you're saying, I'm going to X destination, you need to be clear with them and saying, I'm going to here. A lot of guys seem to add a lot of fluff to their conversations. They add all this nonsense, all this waffle, yeah? And with that, right, the other person gets confused. So you as a person, when you're speaking directly to someone else, it needs to be short and brief and simple. Do you understand? With women, it's the opposite. Women have 10 different emotions and they talk about 10 different things in one sentence. So you won't ever hear a woman saying, I'm going to X destination. She's going to be trying to get her makeup ready. She's going to look at what outfit she's wearing. She's going to be thinking about, oh yeah, do I look presentable? She's going to be thinking about a whole different 10 different other things. But as a guy, right, he's just going to be ready. He's going to be able to just go, okay, I'm ready now. This is what it is. He's going to be going to that. You know what I'm saying? So when you're speaking to both man and women, especially when it comes to dealing with women, yeah, women can pick up and sense whether or not you're somebody who's direct in your communication. Yeah, so when you tell her, look, this is what I want to do. I want to see you at this day, and I want to see you at this time, and I want to see you at this location. And the woman, let's say she's not willing to cooperate with you. That woman there still has a high amount of respect for you, because the reason being you was direct with her. Or if you've approached her on, let's say, the street, or you've approached her in like a shop or wherever it is, yeah, and then you communicate to her and you let her know that, right, I'm trying to get your contact details, and then we can set up a time and a day to meet next time. If she says no to it or she says yes to it, regardless of what the outcome is, you was direct in your communication with her. You was direct and then you was straight with her. A lot of guys, they talk all this waffle, and this is what it is, that turns women off. So less is more when it comes to women. Another thing is, when it comes to your speech, right, it needs to be fluent. So it cannot be all over the place. It cannot be over explanations. A lot of guys, they explain too much and they talk too much as well. And then with that, right, you're losing the other person. The other person is not able to keep up with what you're saying. So have your speech slow to medium pace. So in that middle there, don't talk too fast and don't talk really, really slow. So it needs to have that fine adjustment there. Next point is body language. So developing body language, everyone's going to have their own unique body language and own unique style. Yeah. The problem is a lot of guys, they seem to just copy all these stupid influencers, rappers, and all these guys who are just, they're not about nothing. Yeah. So I tell this to all the guys as well. All your guys that you're listening to. So let's say you listen to music, right? Whatever rappers you guys are listening to, out of all those guys there, who are the people who actually talk about what they're living? Because it's a good 98% of them are not rapping about what they're living. Yeah? So the people that I listen to, I know full well that they've got track records of what they're rapping about or talking about in their music videos. Yeah? So body language is something which you're going to need to develop as a person, and it cannot be copied from someone else. Do you understand, guys? It's really important. So when you're, let's say, walking from X place to another place, or let's say, I'll give an example. Let's say you're at the workplace, right? And then you're talking with your colleague, yeah? And when you're talking with this colleague, right? And then you're going up to speak to someone else, yeah? And let's say there's a woman who's interested in you or somewhat interested in you based off of external attraction first, yeah, because that's what everyone looks at. Everyone looks at the external attraction, and then for a person to fall in love, they have to fall in love with the internal. So the internal attraction. So like personality, confidence, and so on. But I digress there. So I'm going to get back to the topic at hand. So the guy walks over to another guy he's speaking to. That woman there is seeing how this guy here, right, he is being playful. He's somebody who is just making stupid jokes and he's just being annoying. Women sense that and they see that. Do you understand? So it's really important that whatever you're doing, whatever interactions you're doing, it cannot be where you're just too serious, where you're just cold-blooded. You're not somebody who's not even approachable and you don't even talk with anyone. It cannot be that, and it can't be the other goofy type people who are just all playful and there's no sense of frame there whatsoever. Just feminine behavior. Yeah? So that's what it is. A lot of guys, they seem to just talk rubbish in their conversations. It's not anything productive. It's not anything worth discussing. And then women are hearing that as well, and then the respect goes down. So this is why it's so important. You always want to maintain your respect high as possible with everyone you interact with. You understand, guys? It's really important. So that's what it is when it comes to your body language. Body language isn't just with whatever your woman you're speaking to. Women can sense that and see that based off of all your interactions. So all your interactions there, women see that. So let's say with your videos, right, social media, women are seeing every single one of your videos. Yeah, so if she's attracted to you, she's got interest within you, she's watching all your content, and then she's picking up a rough idea of where you stand with other men in society. And if you're able to outshine pretty much 90% of people through your non-verbal communication, which is body language, guess what? She is going to be more attracted to you. Her desire is going to go up and up for you. This doesn't link back to external. So you as a person, obviously, you should be improving physically, but there's many guys who, let's say, they look like they're really good, they look like they've got something going for themselves. So let's say they are like 7 foot or 6 foot 10 or whatever the case is. And that guy there is all goofy and he's all playful. There's guys like that in society who pretty much don't get any women. Because a lot of guys, they seem to think, oh yeah, a woman just looks at height. But that's not true either. Because there's many guys that I know who are really tall and they're not getting no women. You know, this is what it is. And then when they speak to me, they're like, oh yeah, I'm struggling with this thing here. And I'm just like, well, you haven't clearly developed in other areas of life. This is what it is. Your external is something which is given to you. So height is inherited. Do you understand? But masculine frame isn't. It's something that needs to be developed as a person. So that guy there, yeah, let's say the guy who's like 6 foot, yeah, he could be the guy who looks on paper, looks like he's really attractive. But when he comes across that woman there and speaks to her, the woman gets subconsciously turned off. She's thinking, oh, this guy here, I'm not really attracted to him. She has that feeling. It's what all women have, the feeling of hypergamy. Hypergamy is not satisfied. But then she comes across another guy who's like, let's say 5'5", and then she speaks to him. But this guy carries himself with masculine frame. He's somebody who's confident and he's somebody who is articulate and he ticks all the other boxes as well. A lot of times, that woman there will eventually start to develop feelings for that guy. And there's guys out there like this. Yeah, there's many guys out there in society who have got all the external, but they can't hold down relationships. They're able to get women through the door, but then they're not able to hold those long-term relationships. And there's actually studies on it as well. So studies have shown that actually short people tend to get married less. However, the ones that do get married, they're the ones that actually have more long-term relationships. They have more fulfilling relationships. The partner's more satisfied in that relationship. So I don't want to hear any guys complaining, saying, oh yeah, X, Y, Z. I'm not able to get women because of something that they can't control. You need to work on the things that you can control. And that right there, a woman sees that and senses that based off of your body language and based off of how you conduct yourself. That's really important. Next point is friends. So whoever you're interacting with in life, right, you need to have your set of people, couple people, one or two people who are on the same pathway as you, who are leveling up in all areas of life. They've got a clear vision. They're working on their purpose each and every single day. And these are guys who are developing themselves constantly. Yeah? A lot of people in society hang around with the same set of loser type guys. And those are the same tendencies and same characteristics that they end up picking up. So myself from a young age, right, I tended to surround myself with not people who are my age, but a lot of people who are older than me. Guys in, late 20s, 30s, 40s, and so on. Yeah, so my set of age group, I wasn't spending a lot of time with them. Hence why I didn't develop a lot of bad habits. And I developed my masculine frame from the older generations. You understand? So the older generations, the guys who were the oldest, right, they taught me a lot when it came to developing myself. But guys at my age, they tended to stay around guys who are around that age group. They didn't associate with guys who are older. This is what it is. And then hence why the masculinity has been dying. So then through the older generations, from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, masculinity has been going down. It's been dying generation to generation to generation. So when I was speaking to people who are my age and people who are younger, right, they tended to be more feminine. They tended to have no strong masculine frame. Do you understand? So that's why I was able to develop my frame, because I was around guys who had developed that. Does that make sense, guys? So it's really important. So your set of people, whoever you're interacting with, you need to associate with yourself with guys who have developed their masculine frame, and they're gonna likely be older than you. Do you understand? Then you're learning from them. You're constantly developing yourself, and then that way you're having a positive interaction there. Yep. And then the final point is God. So God has written out what it is to be the best possible person, the best version of yourself. And we relate it back to the best example, which is Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Yeah, he's the definition of ultimate masculine man. He was the strongest mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. He excelled in all those areas there. Yeah, so he had his serious side to him when he needed to get down and get on with business, and then he was in wars, he was killing people, he was fighting for his purpose and to spread the deen. But then he was also had the compassionate side of him, and then his intimate side with him, with, let's say, his wives. Yeah, there's many times where he was being playful with them. So he would race with his wives, for example, to do running. Certain times he would eat with them, and then there's even narrations about how, let's say, his wife was having chicken or milk or whatever the case was, and then he would drink from the same glass, so from where she drank it from, and then he'd eat from where she had eaten from. Yeah, so you had that side of him as well. So that's what it is. You need both elements there. So guys in society, they seem to be on the extreme side of it, where they're just completely too serious. They're not able to talk to anyone. They're not able to express themselves and communicate with people. And then you've got the other side of people who are just completely feminine. They talk so much nonsense, so much rubbish, and this is turning women off as well. So your connection with God always comes first in life. That's something which needs to be prioritized, and then that right there, yeah, you're going to be able to develop in all areas of life, because God has laid out the blueprint of what it takes to be the ultimate masculine man. Yeah? So just to wrap up, be direct in your communication. So when you're speaking to somebody, be direct with them, express yourself through your communication. Speak little words, but it's very direct. So speak less. So less is more. Yeah? That right there, you're going to be able to get your point across to people, and then people are not going to be getting confused, and they're not going to be losing track of what you're saying to them. This is especially true when it comes to women. Women have all these different emotions going on. 1 minute she's happy, 1 minute she's sad, 1 minute she's anxious, 1 minute she's confused. She's got all these different emotions going on a day-to-day basis. Yeah? You as a man, when you're direct with her and you're straight to the point with her, she's not going to be getting confused by what you're saying to her. Yeah? That's why women get turned off when they see a guy, right, who's talking all this much here, and the woman's losing track of what he's saying to her. And then before you know it, the attraction was there, right? So she saw him, right, and saw how he was looks-wise, looks attractive. But then as soon as he started opening his mouth, that's it. She started to lose her respect and desire for him. And the next point after that was body language. So I gave you that example of a guy who's like, let's say, 6 foot, yeah. He could be the best looking guy, yeah. As soon as this guy here starts opening his mouth, he's not able to communicate properly with her, and he's not conducting himself properly with interactions with other people. So when a woman's seeing him from across the room, yeah, and this guy here is, let's say, bad mouthing someone, or he's talking rubbish to a waiter or some staff member or something like that, women are seeing, women are watching that. Don't think that women are not watching. And her respect and her desire is going down. But then she comes across another guy who's like short, but he's like 5'5", for example, and he's developed his masculine frame. He excels in all those other areas. Yeah? And then the woman ends up eventually going with him. Yeah? So if you guys probably don't know that, there's certain guys who are like short guys who get multiple women. Yeah? So a lot of guys in society, they seem to be stuck up on height, and there's something that they can't control. But there's many examples of people like that. But people don't want to accept the reality of that. So they just want to attach onto something that they can't control. You know? So that's what it is. Next point after that was friends. So your friends, right, and people who you associate with, they need to be people who are in line with developing the best possible version of themselves. They're constantly improving. They're constantly leveling themselves up each and every single day. They're not people who are stagnant. Yeah? So that interaction you're having with your colleague at work, yeah, is he somebody who is of a positive mindset, or is he just negative and he's somebody who's just goofy and talking nonsense? Because if he's doing that, you need to withdraw yourself from them kind of people there. So if you haven't got a couple of people, 1 or 2 people who are friends who are actual good quality friends, you need to cut off pretty much all these other guys, all these other beta males. You need to cut them off. And you need to be alone then. Develop being alone. Because those guys, they're going to suck all your energy dry. Yeah, they're not going to be able to help you level up in other areas. So if you're telling them about X, Y, Z, about how you got this goal and objective to achieve, they're going to look at you and think, you're not going to be able to do that. So that's what it is. Baggage, you want to remove the excess baggage and focus on quality people. And then the final point was God. Yeah? So your connection with God needs to come first in life. And the best way to develop your masculine frame is to look at the teachings of God. And I gave the example of how masculinity has been dying from the older generations to the younger ones. So from 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, masculinity has been dying. And then testosterone has also been going down as well. It's been decreasing. You can go research that as well. Testosterone levels have been dropping each and every single year. Yeah, and it's at an alarming rate. So I think it was around 50% from how it was in the 40s and 50s to what it is right now. So that goes back to what people are consuming. Yeah, so the food and their lifestyle, and then what they're eating, and then their physical activity. All these things here, people are neglecting. Hence why they're suffering in those areas there. And then the best example is Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. How he was very mentally strong, he was physically fit, he was emotionally intelligent, and he was somebody who was spiritually the strongest. Yeah? So all those different areas, hence why he had multiple women. Yeah? So a lot of guys, they seem to be stuck up on, oh yeah, I need to have X, Y, Z, but they're not looking at the best example, which is Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Yeah? So that's what it is, guys. I hope that makes sense. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.